first and foremost, this is gonna be great. So every cool guitar has a story. That's just how it works. I believe that to be the truth. So you know, I just think that's kind of what makes them personal to us. This guitar does have a story. It doesn't have a great story. In fact, it's kind of a sad or weird story. So I'll tell it to you real quick. This is a Fender Custom Shop in Arizona copper, okay, with matching Arizona copper headstock. Now, this is Custom Shop, and on the back, you will read, it says, right there, I can't read backwards. It says McKnight Guitar Company, Fender Custom Shop. Okay, so this guitar was part of a series of guitars that my store did in 2007 and 8. I'm going to serial number, see if I can figure it out. 2007 and 8, and I believe 9. Yeah, this one's 2007. 2007, 8, 9. Is this right? Okay, so here's how the story goes. I was asked to be a custom shop dealer, and the recession was coming in. I could kind of feel it, but I just wanted to do it. So I came with this idea with my Fender rep to carry custom shop guitars. Now, I came up with an idea that I thought was amazing, and here was the idea. I said, hey, if I order 16 guitars, which was the number they wanted me to do, 16 custom shop guitars. If I order 16 guitars, can I order them spec'd out the way I kind of want them to be for custom shop, or do I have to take what you guys want? And they said, no, you can custom out. So here's what I did. I ordered 16 guitars in cool colors. Surf Pearl, so it was surf green with pearl added to it. You know, Lake Placid, Arizona Copper. We did like I don't know, just a lot of crazy colors. But I had them all made the same way, with matching painted headstock, locking Spurzall tuners, right? A couple had regular tuners, but mostly Spurzall tuners. 12-inch radius fretboard with the amazing, look at that back and the neck, right? All of them burl, like burl maple. Quarter sawn necks, okay? So quarter sawn. We did tight route bodies. In other words, the bodies were cut just to whatever the pickups would fit, so there's not a lot of wood being removed. With pop-in whammy bars like the Deluxes, and I had them chrome dip the blocks, like the newer blocks are satin finished. And then a lot of them we just did, you know, vintage. I think we did vintage hot and vintage pickups, you know, right, for the guitars. And so essentially that's what we did. Basically like a tricked out Strat that played great, that looked cool, and it was fun. And it gave somebody something unique. So, and the cool part was we sold them. And what happened was Fender came to us and then said, if you want to do it again for next year, actually, you know what, I'll tell the story the way it was, because it's actually cool. So here's what happened. So I sold the guitars. I started being a coming dealer in July. I asked specifically, I said, hey, how long is this, you know, if I buy 16 guitars, how long am I a vintage dealer for? And they go, for 1 year. And I said, well, for the year or for 1 year? And they go, 1 year. So so I started in July. I sold most of them out through Christmas. I was doing great. Come January, a customer came in the store and saw a couple vintage guitars, saw custom shop guitars on my wall, was buying strings and said, you guys carry custom shop? And I was like, we're like, yeah, of course. We're a showcase dealer. You know, we're the elite. We actually carry all their stuff. And he goes, well, I drove to another music store down in Tucson because you're not listed. And I said, oh, of course we're listed. I went on the computer and we weren't listed. So I called the rep. I said, what happened? He said he'd check into it, calls me back and he says, well, you didn't buy any for this year, so you're not a dealer. I said, well, I bought some in July and then I rebought in November. So what happened? He goes, well, you have to do it, you know, in the year, the calendar. And I said, well, that's not what you guys said. You said 1 year. And he said, I understand. If you buy one guitar, we'll make sure you're a dealer again. So I bought, and to Fender's credit, they gave me a deal. He said, oh, we'll give you a deal on a couple of guitars. So I bought 3 or 4 because I said, well, if you're going to give me a deal, if I buy more, will you give me the deal? Yeah, they give me the deal. This is where it gets weird. So, you know, I'm not going to lie. We were a little butthurt about it because, you know, we lost that opportunity for a sale, you know, on a high dollar guitar like this. It was a big deal, but we, you know, we went with it. Fender, you know, corrected the problem. We went along. Well, then what happened was mid-year they came at us again and said, you know, there's a rebuying because your buy-in is in July, and they had changed some management again and changed some stuff. And long story short, they said if you want to buy in again, it's 26 pieces now, and then we've raised the price. They raised the price like 20%. Now, my partner, which is my wife's like, that's insane, don't do it. I called a colleague of mine, a music store owner who owns another large music store in Phoenix, Arizona, who's, you know, passed away. He told me, Phil, you're crazy if you do it. Don't do it. He says, I won't respect you if you do it. And I thought, wow, that's some powerful words. And So I got off the phone with him, and I couldn't help it. I go, I'm going to do it. So here's what I did. I said, let's do it again. We were so successful. Let's order up a bunch of crazy ones again, and we'll do it. So I was working up Order for 26, and I came with this great idea. I had met Gary Hoey a couple times, if you know who Gary Hoey is. And I called I contacted him via email first, and his wife contacted me back, and I said, hey, I know you do the ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-y thing at Christmas. Could you do, I'll pay you if you do a clinic in my store, and I want to order some custom straps, and you have a really cool Strat, and I want them to make a bunch of them for us, like 6. It won't be an artist model because he's not endorsed that way through Fender, but it'll be really cool. And his wife says, sure, I'll talk to Gary. And then Gary emailed back and says, Phil, that sounds great. Let's do it. So I contact Custom Shop. I ordered up a bunch, including this Strat. And I said, yeah, I want to do it. And I want 6 of these guitars identical. And this is what happened. A guy at Fender who I kind of want to say by name because I really don't like him. I very rarely don't like somebody, but I really don't like this person. And he called me up and said, out of nowhere, at my store, and said, how dare you contact Gary Hoey and work this, deal out to have him come to your store and sell these Strats. He goes, who do you think you are? Now, I'm a witty guy, so I said, well, I think I'm the guy that's trying to sell 26 of your $2,000+ dealer cost guitars. That's who I think I am. And of course, the conversation didn't go very well, and we butt heads right then. And what they did was, I immediately said, well, then I'm not interested in a dealer. So what they did was, they shipped 4 or 5 of the last guitars that I had on the order, but the order was messed up. We were supposed to change it. I had made agreements to change it. One of the deals I made for these 16 first guitars was I told the customers, the coolest thing about this is I won't do the same guitar twice. So if I did this guitar with a rosewood fretboard, the next one would have maple and then no more copper. And then we'll do another color. So each one would be slightly different. Well, because I duplicated the order, this one came in and it was identical to one of the customers. And I was really upset about it, and I didn't know what to do, so I bought it. And the customer is a good friend of mine that has it, and he knows I have it. And so that's how I ended up with this Custom Shop guitar. I had to kind of eat it. The only thing that's funny about this, actually the last part of this story that kind of hosed me a little bit, the cost on this guitar, they raised the price on that last batch so much that I actually paid more than I sold it. I sold one to the customer. So he has the same, so here's the funny, he has the same one as me, or I have the same one as him. But I paid cost, and he paid, of course, the street price, and I paid more than him. So it's kind of funny. So that's where I got this copper Strat. So this is my copper Strat that I won't get rid of forever because of that reason. Actually, I do love it. So that's the good part. Next guitar. All right, next, the Stu Hamm Urge Bass. Now, if you guitar players out there don't know who Stu is, Stu Hamm is the guy who was backing Joe Satriani and Steve Vai back in the day, countless other top musicians. He is a bass player among all bass players. But more importantly, as you guys know, if you really know me, you know that I'm actually, for the 26 years I've been playing guitar, I have spent the majority of that time actually playing bass. And there was a period of my time, for almost 10 years of that 26 years, I didn't even own a guitar. I only own basses. So I did play bass. Now, Stu Hamm is not my favorite bass player in the world. It's probably Marcus Miller. But Stu Hamm is the guy who, he was the first guy who I ever saw play bass that made me understand what a bass player was. Until then, I was in bands and I knew there was bass players. I didn't know what that was. I saw Stu Hamm once and I go, that guy's a bass player. And so the Stu Hamm Urge bass, this is the first one. This is 1996. 1996, I believe. It is a short scale. It's 32 inches instead of 34 inches long. It has a bazillion-and-1 pickups and a cotillion-and-1 knobs, including the selector switch. I have this one. I kick around buying the green one and the purple one because they have 3 of these that you can find. But you know, it's even got a kill switch. I don't know why you need that. And of course, he's most famous for, if you guys, you know, some of you guitar players will know it because he did the Linus and Lucid. Oh, one more time. Ready? One more time. And now what's cool about being a bass player is, as a bass player, I don't collect basses. I have a couple. So this is my Urge bass. It is super light. It is Lake Placid blue. It is gorgeous. It has a matching cool case with this cool 70s silver, look on it. Is made in USA, and they don't make them anymore, obviously, because Stu Hamm is no longer with Fender. And even after that, they did a second edition that was not as nice. Funny story about that, because I like a good bass with a story. I bought the Urge 2, the second one, and it was defective. I called the rep shipped it to me. It was not good. I shipped it back. Got another one. It was bad, a different way. Shipped it back. Got the third one was bad. And then I emailed Stu Hamm and I said, hey, you know, I'm a dealer for Fender. I'm a bass player. I'm a passionate guy. And I emailed him through Facebook and said, you know, I've gotten 3 of these $2,600 basses that Fender's selling, and they're horrible. And I go, you know, so I just wanted to communicate to you. And Stu sent me back a nice email and said, yeah, the bridges have been having problems, and I'm aware of the problems. And it wasn't shortly after that, which I don't think I had anything to do with, but, you know, he's no longer with Fender. I don't know if he left or they let him go or what happened. I don't think any of it was attached to my situation that happened with Stu Hamm, but that did happen. It was really cool. And after that, I was so excited about that, you know, that he was so nice and everything. I found the Urge 1, and I got this Urge 1. So there you go. It's the Stu Hamm Urge 1. All right, Tellies. I owned a couple Tellies. I am down to one. This is the Telly that I have constructed. I basically own 2 Tellies that I was constantly flipping back and forth. I love the way one played. I love the way one sounded. So you know what I did? I cannibalized the 2, made one super Telly out of them, took the other parts, made another Telly out of that. You know, in other words, swapped the parts I wanted, and sold it off on Craigslist as a used, you know, because it's used as a Telly. And of course, so you guys know for the record, totally disclosed what I did. In fact, the guy thought it was funny. So here's what it is. What is this? This is a limited edition Telly that's in light ash. This thing is super, super light. I want to say 6.5 pounds, something like that. I mean, it's light, like light. Okay, so super light body with the contour in the back. It is an American Standard body with the American Standard. No, this is, okay, so here's what I cannibalized. It's an American Standard body. I put the American Deluxe bridge with the cast blocks tuners with chrome plating. Upgraded the potentiometers to the no load switch, which came with the American Standard, but I upgraded potentiometers. I put in a BG 1400. It's a Billy Gibbons 1400 custom shop pickup. And then this is a Wiggins Telly neck pickup with the chrome cover over the Wiggins pickup. This is an American Special neck, which is where it came from, the American Special. And then I upgraded to locking tuners. So it's American Special and American Standard combination because I wanted this neck profile. And I went to one Telly. And I recently just put this white pickguard on there. And I'm not ashamed to admit this. I want a Telly that always looks like Ralph Macchio's from Crossroads. I don't know why. There it is. That's why. So I got it to look like that. And then of course this one, just because I know it's lacquer, it's thin lacquer. I have dented it already. You know, I don't even gig with it. It's got dents in it and stuff. Oh, it's really shiny in here. I'm sorry, guys. Dented and stuff, and you can really see that finish. It's like almost looks like it's sandblasted, right? Because you can see the grain, like heavy, right? Just looks cool. I know over time it's gonna wear and just look beaten in. I just love it. It just makes me happy when I think about playing it and when I do it. It's pretty cool. And now I have one Telly, and that's perfect for me. All right. This is my Ernie Ball Private Reserve Petrucci 7-string guitar with this really cool green quilted top maple. So, cool thing about this guitar, this is a guitar I wanted for years. I wanted a 7-string Petrucci. Even used, they were hitting $2,000 and $2,500. It was really pricey, you know, especially for a 7-string. I wanted one. Here's the story. Here's how it goes. A buddy of mine, Brian, had bought this, and this is what happened. He bought it, and then he took and sanded the neck down, and then see how I scarred it with a razor blade? You know, scored off the paint, took the paint off and unfinished it, and I think he lacquered it. I can't remember. And he went to sell it, and I didn't know he was selling it. Another friend of mine goes, "Hey, there's this guy on Craigslist selling this Music Man. I went to buy it, and it had this weird neck." And I go, "Oh, that's got to be Brian's." So I called Brian, and I said, "Hey, are you selling your Music Man?" He said, "Yeah." So he came down and met me. I played it, and I do like the neck like this. In fact, I took the finish off, and I refinished the neck. That's why it's like shiny now. So I refinished the neck myself. And long story short, I paid $1,200 for it. So as you know, for a guitar like this, $1,200 is a deal. You cannot find something like this. It plays amazing. This neck feels great. The weight is good. It sounds good. Everything about it is perfect. I know this devalues the heck out of it, but you know, it's also what gave me the deal on it. I wouldn't be able to get it for $1,200 if it wasn't for that deal. And I'm sure no matter what, it's always worth $1,200. So definitely a cool guitar, and I really like the finish. It's just kind of fun and cool. I tried to replace these with silver knobs. I called Music Man. The rubber broke off, and I called Music Man, and I said, "Hey, I want to buy silver ones." And they go, "You can't buy silver ones unless you have the exact model that the silver ones come with, and your model has black knobs." So weird. They wouldn't take my money. So, all right, next guitar. All right, my RG550 in Desert Yellow. No, not Desert Yellow. Road Flare Red. Road Flare Red. If you watch my videos in the last year, you keep seeing these RGs. I had this Road Flare Red one. Then I got the Desert Yellow, and then I shoved these pickups, and I shoved that pickups, and I did all this stuff. I was trying to get this guitar in a way that I'd like it. I like having it because it reminds me of Paul Gilbert. I like having it because it's got a fast neck and it's fun to play, but I wasn't finding the sweet spot on it. And so long story short, the yellow one had to go, and the red one stayed. And because of the two, that was the winner. So it's now got neon stuff stuck in it, some pickups, custom shop Seymour Duncans that I had done. And whenever I feel like faking that kind of 80s metal, you know, kind of stuff, whatever that is. This is the guitar I grabbed now, so I have it. So I will always have an IRG guitar like this in my collection because of how cool they were when I was a kid. I probably told this story in a video before, so I kind of hate this, but I'll just tell you. I graduated high school in '93. So how it worked for me was I went into high school. When I started high school playing guitar, everybody played guitars like this. And a show like Saved by the Bell was huge, and the rapping guys were huge, but it was MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, so there was a lot of rappers, but rock was still cool, and you know, and it was Motley Crue and Warrant and all those guys were taking over, you know, for the 80s pop metal kind of thing. But there were a lot of legitimate bands out there too, you know, Skid Row was good, Skid Row, Guns N' Roses, so and so and so on. What happened was, before I was even done with high school, this stuff was a joke and gone, and then grunge was in. So by the time I got into bands and stuff, I got into heavy bands, or rock bands or alternative bands. I've been in a lot of weird bands, but I never got to play in an 80s band. I've never been in one. You know, sometimes everybody's like, "Oh, you like that 80s metal?" I'm like, but I never played it. I literally never got a chance. I practiced every night to do stuff like that, and then never got to do it, and then immediately switched to bass right after that because I needed to change. So it's kind of like the thing that never happened. I don't have a Glory Days. I'm not playing this stuff because it reminds me of the Glory Days. I just play it because I got cheated out of it. So there you go. Okay, the Parker. Okay, so I bought this guitar during the recession, and what happened was they were very expensive, and I wanted one for a while, and I bought one in 2005, new. Oops, it's acting up. Sounds awesome, huh? Anyways, so I bought one new in 2005, and then I sold it, and the long story short, the prices jumped and they went crazy, and so I decided to get one again, but they were too expensive. And when the recession came, Parker was giving deals, so I bought a couple of deals. These were solid one-piece mahogany bodies. The whole piece is made of mahogany, and then the neck is another piece of mahogany. It's just a cool guitar. What's cool about these, I think, well, now they don't make them anymore because they're out of business, they're gone. You know, the Parker guys are not doing stuff, I guess. But when I had this done, what was cool was it was custom at the time. I had them custom make the headstock so you can hang it. So, and now they kind of do that, but it was definitely unique on these models to do that. What was cool is I got them to do whatever I wanted for no additional charge because we were all hurting at that time. And I sold a couple guitars and got this guitar. So, let's go to the next guitar. I have no idea what I'm playing. Okay, this is my Teleacoustic by Fender. Okay, so the Teleacoustic, no modifications, just a strap on it. It's got electronics, it's super light. It sounds horrible. And if I told you what I do with it, I mostly, when I practice, I like to have it in the front room or somewhere. I have it because sometimes I actually shove stuff into it. I want it not loud. My wife says it sounds horrible and it hurts her ears when I play it. Oh, well, probably when I play chords like that. But I mostly got it because I needed acoustic, or I wanted a guitar that I could play that was like electric. But hear it without an amplifier. So, unexciting, but there you go. And it's got a pretty top, so nothing exciting.